Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into some really potent material you brought in, excerpts from something called The Leopard's Vengeance.
Mhm.
And our goal here is to unpack this world it describes, a world where, and this is a direct quote, vengeance is the law. So let's start with the main figure, Kovu. He's a leopard, and the text says he's burned by loss.
Yeah, that's a powerful description.
It really is. And his whole focus seems to be this quest for vengeance against a hyena clan led by a merciless alpha.
Right.
What strikes me immediately is this isn't just, territorial squabbling. It's personal. It's about payback.
Exactly. And that phrase, vengeance is the law, it's doing a lot of work there. It's not just drama. It tells you about the fundamental operating system of this place.
What do you mean by operating system?
Well, it suggests a world where justice, if you can call it that, is entirely primal. It's individual in such a fiercely competitive setting like Africa's deadliest jungle.
Which is where this is set, right?
Yeah, precisely. In that kind of place, it means harms aren't forgotten. They fester. And maybe the only way to feel secure is through, ironically, hitting back harder.
So it forces you to think, what kind of stability, if any, can possibly exist when revenge is the driving force behind everything?
It's a tough question. And then things get even worse.
Okay, so vengeance is already the baseline law, but then the source throws in this massive disruption. A drought turns the jungle into a war zone. How does that amplify things?
Oh, massively. The drought is like throwing gasoline on a fire. It takes an already tense ecosystem and just shatters it.
So it's not just Kovu's personal vendetta anymore.
Not at all. Scarcity changes everything. Water, food, suddenly everyone's desperate. It forces these confrontations between species that might otherwise, keep their distance.
Like, whoa, the source mentions quite a few heavy hitters.
Yeah, it lists leopards, lions, pythons, crocodiles. It says they all clash.
Wow. Leopards, lions, pythons, crocodiles. That's a serious lineup. What does pulling in all these different apex predators tell us? Is it just chaos, or are there different layers to this conflict?
I think it highlights the sheer scale of the crisis. It's not just one rivalry. The drought makes it an existential threat for everyone.
Okay.
So the lion isn't just fighting the leopard. They're both fighting maybe the crocodiles for the last bit of water, and the python is competing for dwindling prey. It becomes this frantic, multi-sided battle.
And the source uses some intense language here, saying the jungle will witness blood and echo with roars of revenge.
Absolutely. It paints a picture of total, brutal conflict, which leads to that really stark concluding idea from the source.
Only the most savage will stand. That phrase really hangs in the air. What does savage mean here? Is it just about being the strongest?
I think it's more than just physical strength. It implies a willingness to be utterly ruthless, to abandon any restraint.
So adaptability in this context means being brutal.
It seems so. Survival depends on that raw instinct to dominate, to eliminate rivals when resources are almost gone. It's a very harsh definition of fitness, isn't it?
Definitely. So this whole narrative really digs into these deep primal themes, doesn't it? Loss, that powerful drive for revenge, and just the raw fight to exist when the world turns against you.
Yeah, it's a very unfiltered look at what happens at the absolute edge of survival, how those core drives, vengeance, survival, become the defining traits.
Well, that gives us a lot to think about from just these excerpts of The Leopard's Vengeance. We've seen Kovu's quest set against this backdrop of a jungle-turned war zone.
It does leave you with a final thought, though. If you consider this world where vengeance is the law and only the most savage survive, what does that reflect about the core drives in any really high-stakes struggle, even outside the jungle?
That's a powerful question to ponder, how those instincts might surface elsewhere.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive today. Lots to chew on there.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.